You're listening to the ReachCast show, your weekly stop for the latest and greatest in the Planetside 2 universe and its community.
Welcome, everybody. It's September 16th, and you're listening to episode 51 of the ReachCast show. Proud members of the Harassers Global Network and the podcast network with a K. I'm your host, Adam, a.k.a. Torkz. With me tonight, my boys in blue and purple, Tom, a.k.a. Noxx.
Hey, guys.
And Mark, a.k.a. Deringer.
What's up, everybody?
Tonight we are brought to you by God Mode and great listeners like you via Give Us Money at ReachCastShow.com. We played with Dropping Purple Smoke this week, some Nuck, some Imperial Reach. Imperial Reach is awesome. Play with some 666, amazing NC outfit. What do we have in store for the show? Some patch notes, booyah, a forum post by Ryan Elam, the technical director of PS2. Some community clash news, a couple phone calls from belligerent people in the community, and emails. And with that being said, let's get back to little kid cursing. Patch notes.
I'm going to get these mosquitoes in the air and rain down some hellfires on my foods. Oh no! What the f***? I should have listened to the ReachCast patch notes.
Alright, you know them, you love them, you miss them just like we did. We've got patch notes, and more patch notes to fill your sack. Too far? No good?
Wow, you're really trying to sell it, aren't you?
Well, there were a lot of them, like patch after patch after patch. There were even patches to fix patches.
I think you should be one of the dudes who writes those TV infomercials.
Sunday, we're dropping a new hotfix. Is that the one you're talking about?
Good lord.
Like that,
Yeah.
Well, let's start off with a 9/11 hotfix. Started off with a bunch of new items in the player studio. Have you guys checked out the new helmets that are out there? Specifically, the giant bubble Vanu helmet that is reflective.
It is pretty nice, isn't it?
It's totally reflective, and it's got a nice fishbowl effect to it, a fisheye effect to it as well. It's pretty cool. Continent-specific facility capsulars were also modified. They should trigger much less often now, and their duration and final reward have also been cut in half. There was also a change to squad reinforcement spawn list. It now deprioritizes some regions where your side has a population advantage, so it's not going to send you towards some of those more populous fights. Instant action has been modified so that it more often places people into active fights. We've talked about that one multiple times, have we not? Or is it just my imagination?
No, we
It's
have.
probably the half-dozenth time we've talked about instant action being changed the way where it drops you.
It seems like it's the exact same wording every single time, too. Yeah.
We changed.
Always putting you into more active fights.
I think they should actually say, like, we have changed the stats on the way this activates by 0.2% of gunfire and hex, or I don't know. I think it'd be funny, but yeah.
They also added a new type of experience bonus called Savior XP, and I actually heard a lot of people asking what this was about because they saw the actual blurb come across their screen. So they've added a bonus experience reward for killing an enemy player who recently severely damaged but did not kill a friendly player. So it will actually say, Savior XP on your screen. You know how it says extreme menace kill, things like that. Now it'll also say Savior XP. So if you see that come up, now you know why you're getting that. They also put in some fixes for rockets and projectiles. So guided rockets that were not traveling the correct path on other clients has been fixed. Projectiles not rendering with shot out of render distance, specifically stuff out of the AV mana turret, has been fixed. Striker missiles should no longer fly through terrain and buildings and still hit their targets. Victims of the Phoenix should no longer see the projectiles adjust course quickly within 10 meters and then detonate. Air-to-air rockets will no longer bounce back and forth on your screen, which I can't tell you how many times it annoyed the heck out of me.
Yeah, it looks like a party favor.
Yeah, a lot of rocket fixes. The next one that actually Noxx and I chatted about a little bit, was that they've now cleared out all weapons and attachments from your certification screen. You now actually have to see those on your loadout screen, so they're no longer in the accordion, which is, I actually like it, because now my accordion is 17 pages long that I have to scroll down to go through, on my heavy specifically. Since it's got
There are
so
a
many
bunch of
freaking
weapons that you don't even own.
Yeah, exactly. So I kind of like that change. Some people might be confused by it, though.
Who do you
They
think
now...
uses that anymore with the other UI updates they made?
Yeah, you're right.
Like a while ago, I don't mean this patch.
Everyone has been asking for this one. There is now an additional other cosmetic slot for your Sunderer. So if you want rims on your rims, you can now put rims on your rims and roll some rims. Here's another one that we talked about.
Is it for the smokestacks? Those badass smokestacks that got released.
Well, that you could always put them on, but now you can have them and rims.
Oh man, I love them smokestacks.
Next up, they added above mean sea level to air vehicles. This is what we were actually talking about last week.
Which we don't like.
Yeah, which we didn't like. So now they've got it changed. So there's now a display that it shows both.
Nice.
And finally, everyone's favorite, including mine, they added a fix to prevent AoE damage from hitting players inside IFF shields from certain angles. I can no longer take advantage of this.
Is your KDR on that character just like plummeting now?
I haven't played that character in a while. I actually went back to playing Deringer.
He doesn't want to because he knows it will.
No, well, yes and no. I to be honest,
don't lie. Yes.
That's one reason. One reason is that I can't do that anymore. The other reason is I kind of missed playing with all the outfits on Connery, to tell you the truth. I missed interacting with Devil Dogs, Future Crew, and playing with DPSO. I haven't played with them in a long time. So, kind of missed it and wanted to go back to play with them for a little while.
Well, there was another client update on 9/11 as well. And it says AoE damage fix. So even though you said they fixed it, I don't think they did initially. And now they did. And maybe that came up in the future again. I don't know. Torkz will let us know.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
But they fixed the comically large particle effect on the Magrider PPA, which we experienced in the community clash, which was hilarious.
Now,
nuclear PPA.
Are you guys surprised that made it to live?
Oh yeah, they talked about it in F&O, and Maggie and Clegg were surprised QA signed off on this.
Because we unearthed it, that same day did we unearth it the same day? Yeah. We did find it on the test server that same day.
Probably went out before that, no. I don't know. Well, no, it would have been after, because it was on the test server when we were doing it. Or they didn't do it at the test server. I don't know, whatever. Alright, they fixed an issue where some objects weren't despawning correctly, vehicle debris, grenades. That everyone experienced that one. Lock-on notifications should now behave properly again as well. And then, 9.12, there was another hotfix where the recon drone was removed from the infiltrator cert tree, and they will be granting the certs back to the folks who spent their certs on this. The ping column on the server select is now correctly named and sorted. Platoon member distance readings should not display an error. They fixed the miscolored Lumifiber on Magriders, and removed some errant test domes from Amerish. So,
I wish I'd seen those test domes, honestly.
I know.
I wonder what that looked like.
We did catch a nice close-up of the recon drone and what it's going to look like, though, and it looks pretty slick.
It does look pretty nice. Agreed. Alrighty, so 9.12 client update. There were some damage fixes for AoE things, and not so much for that really. But there was a bugs fix for major issues with the game client crashing. 9.13 they fixed AoE damage, and they also fixed Warp Gate shield disappearing, so other factions could appear inside your Warp Gate and farm you.
That one was an odd one, let me tell you.
Yeah, it's good times. Community briefing.
Attention, soldiers! Get your bus in here for this week's community briefing.
Alright, we're going to take a break from our normal starting community briefing with Friday Night Opt because we feel that there's something better to discuss. Well, not better, but something that we wanted to discuss before we talk about F&O. So, This is going to take a little while, so get yourself a cup of coffee right now as we dive into Operation Make Faster Game, or OMFG. This is the forum post that Torkz alluded to earlier. It was posted by Ryan Elam, the technical director of Planetside 2, and we're just going to fly through all the different questions and things that they're going to fix in Operation Make Faster Game, and kind of summarize it up for you guys so we're all on the same page on how this is going to how the optimizations are going to make the game better for all of us. So the first question he answered, and that he posed and then answered, was, why haven't you done this already? And originally they wanted to keep the optimization as safe as possible so that everyone could actually play the game without really pushing some of these changes out to players, and that many of these optimizations required too much time to really be feasible with all the other things that they were trying to push out into the game. So the next logical question is, why are you doing this now? And the short answer is the core game is now where they want it to be. Number 2, Smedley said, fix it now. And finally, the teams have all been given the freedom to fix things that take significant time to fix, since they're not so much focusing on all the other little things that are inside the game. Anyone else want to chime in on this one?
No,
I mean, saying the core game is where they want it to be is, I guess core means very just gameplay. I think a lot of people might misinterpret that incorrectly. Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know where they think the core is or what where they want it to be, whatever, but they have made some strides in the way of performance. I've seen some better FPS as I've logged into the game, but I really hope they get back to moving on some content, resource revamp being my primary concern.
Well, we'll roll through the rest of this stuff then. Next up, he wanted to discuss something about the physics. So they're saying that they will restructure the complexity of their physics by giving the physics simulation less to do, by taking things that are a distance away from you and making them simulate less. This is called adaptive level of detail. And if you have between 2 and 4 cores, you should see potentially a massive increase in your FPS once they restructure this complexity.
That should be pretty sweet. I will continue onward now. The overhead manager is another thing that they're working on, and they spend lots of time drawing Doritos, as they call them, and there's a lot that goes into when they are rendered. They are refactoring that entire system to be more efficient and also refactoring the rendering code. So I guess that's the name when you click on queue someone.
Yeah. When they use a term like refactoring, to me that just says this is going to take a long time. Refactoring
is a lot of fun, let me tell you.
Is it? See, I have
really redoing it.
Is it though?
Obviously you're not going to delete the code and start over, but you're going to be pulling out chunks of code, putting them in different spots, changing the way a loop might work or something like that. And it's a lot of work. It definitely is a lot of work, but it can make big time differences. I mean, sometimes it is just starting over and copy pasting very small pieces of code you've written. I've refactored code many times. It's not fun, but if it does the benefits, then if it does what they hope, then it'll be worth it. Player updates. They will reduce the number of players per frame that are updated and be smarter on which ones need full updates. So early testing showed that less than 10% needed to be updated, and currently 100% get updated, so that should be quite useful.
Seems like it's a lot less stress.
Yeah, exactly. A lot less stress on the server, I'd imagine, at that point. And then there's animation updates, and they're looking at ways to process fewer animations per frame with less complexity without reducing quality. And this one's tough and requires a lot of work between the art and code teams together. Collaboration.
Okay, UI, or user interface for you guys, is overly complex, even though it looks simple with tens of thousands of lines of code running each UI piece. So they're basically saying it's complex. They see areas where they can optimize this to reduce per frame time as little as 10% of where it is now. So they can reduce the load of the UI on your system by up to 90%, basically is what that means, which is crazy.
It's crazy.
They must be running in, like, Java. They are also upgrading middleware, yeah.
Don't bring Java into the likes of JavaScript, okay?
Java's bad, too.
And that was just theory. We have no confirmation.
Yeah, I was going to say, didn't I say that
I'm
last
being
week?
sarcastic.
Oh.
Jesus. They're also upgrading middleware and decoupling the various parts so that they don't update with each frame. The occlusion and visibility. They use Umbra for this, and they're upgrading it to the latest version, which should reduce the time spent per frame on visibility. And they are also putting visibility in its own thread, which will greatly help AMD users.
Yay!
Yay.
Do you guys know what Umbra is?
I'm not familiar with it. Multi-threaded rendering. You're taking the part of the renderer that talks to DirectX and putting it in its own thread. This will give the main thread less to do and further increase the frame rates for those using 4 or more cores.
Yay!
Yay! All right.
A lot of this stuff seems to be going towards people that have 2 to 4 cores or more, which I'm not surprised since most people have 4 cores now. Would you guys agree with that statement?
Yeah, and Umbra deals with shadows.
It does? Okay. The final point that he has in Operation Make Faster Game is something called more instrumentation. And he said they are adding more dials and knobs so that they can see what's happening in big battles. And this will help them determine what to optimize next. And I think my favorite part of this entire topic is that they are also creating a benchmark level. And what he says is, he hopes that you will just be able to click a button. It will take you through a series of benchmarking events in-game, and it will spit out a score for you. And you'll be able to check this against the benchmark level to see how much higher than that score you should be, or are. Hopefully you should be higher than that score. This information will be transmitted to SOE along with your specs so that they can constantly see how every possible variation is doing and further help optimization direction. I really like this last benchmarking piece, and I hope that comes into the game soon.
It's like when I first played, I think it was Half-Life 2, and it brings you through the benchmark, like, tram, and you're going through a room, and it's doing stuff with fire and shadows, and it's trying to, like, optimize things.
I'm excited.
What I'm talking about?
I know exactly.
Sweet. I hope that works out for them. And I'll help them collect good data too.
I wonder what they're going to throw. It sounds like they're going to throw you straight through different things within the game, and I wonder what some of those things are going to be.
Here's a massive battle. We're going to watch it for a little bit.
You're in a tank. It now blew up. Here you are flying, doing dogfighting. I don't know. I'm interested to see how this works and to see what that benchmarking level actually is, where my machine rates against that. I don't know about you guys, but I'm really excited about everything that I read in this post because a lot of it really talks directly to me and some of the people that I know with AMD systems that are experiencing some of these issues.
I'm pretty happy. I mean, I like the fact that they are continuing their open visibility to the players, even with the optimization stuff. And so I think that's really cool. I like it. Makes me happy.
I think it makes everybody happy.
Should I continue forward then?
Yeah, let's move on.
Alright, so there's a cool... Oh man, we're still skipping before going to F&O. There's a little video called Harassers Gone Wild. It's a video from Bush Doctor. We'll post that link in the links on the show, so check that out.
It's a lot of jumps, people jumping.
I haven't watched it myself, but I can imagine what's in it. I saw Harasser do a barrel roll the other day. It's pretty sweet.
There was actually in that whole vid, there was one part that's pretty badass. He jumps off a cliff. He lands, rolls, falls off that cliff, hits another cliff, rolls off that cliff, hits another cliff, rolls off that cliff.
How many cliffs are there in this game?
I don't know what cliff he ran.
He didn't blow up yet?
No, he didn't blow up on any of this, and then he finally lands. He even lands it. Like his fourth cliff down, he finally lands it. Which is pretty insane, to watch it. I would check it out or whatever. Go ahead.
Well, F&O, finally. I forgot the episode number. Was it 45? I want to say 45.
360. I don't know.
So,
They're
this time, Clegg and Maggie were there, Hamill was not, and they gave us some pretty good information on how the map team is enhancing performance. Basically, what they're doing is they're turning unique objects, and they mention, or unimportant, which is what I'm assuming as much as like the object being there doesn't add too much to the game and the immersion. And then they said objects that don't render very well.
No, their rendering isn't optimized. So,
Optimized. Oh, okay, that's it.
So
I was distracted while listening, but yeah. So they're making these things pink and then removing them and replacing them with other objects that are more common and won't like change the feel of the game. So that's pretty good. So basically, you're just going to load fewer objects.
Well, they're replacing non-optimized objects with optimized objects, basically. Going through and everything. It's not all the objects that aren't optimized for you to look at. They're replacing with ones that are. That have optimized textures and such. So it's just...
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember
generally a lower load on you when you're going around from base to base.
Well, and just fewer, too. Fewer unique objects.
Mm-hmm.
But, so what I immediately thought, and I haven't checked this out, haven't had the time to check it out today, but that BFR on Indar, is it still there?
I haven't looked.
I haven't looked either.
I'm going to have to go find out and see if it's still there. It won't be there much longer if it is.
Yeah, probably true.
If they're removing unique objects. So, they also gave everyone who does not listen to ReachCast some Community Clash updates and some news about it, which we'll get to later. And then Clegg played with Recursion, and played with them for quite a while, and at the end, Clegg, I guess, strayed from the squad or something, and the leader of Recursion called him out to be executed by many Recursion members. There were probably 15 of them there ready to just execute him, and Clegg had secretly turned on God mode and watched and just killed like 8 guys before he got weapons locked and was just laughing, but it was pretty funny.
Yeah. He loves some LA. The entire time I watched him on both today's FNO they put up on Twitch and Fridays, he was playing LA like the entire time. So he loves LA.
He killed me as LA.
Heavy when he was getting executed.
He killed me as LA today.
Yeah, he's playing a lot of LA. That's fine. He'll get smashed by TR. He'll be alright. No worries.
Clearly not Mono. Deringer with his massive KDR can't kill him.
I was rezzing people. Give me a break.
Alright, so the community question for this week. Community question of the week, I should say. Community question for last week was, which base do you believe needs a rework the most? And our feedback primarily was a lot of Biolab hate, which is already in the works, which we told you guys, don't pick Biolab. But Granite Valley was one of them that I heard a lot of. What was the other one? Quartz Ridge. Ton of Quartz Ridge. But I think that one's already in the works too, so... I did hear a couple people voice that basically anything that's not on Esamir needs to be reworked. So...
I kind of agree with that. Esamir is really, really good right now, and Indar kind of sucks.
Indar could use another rework, I'm not going to argue that.
And Amrish, no one plays on Amrish still.
You say that, but I've spent the last 3 days on Amrish.
Amrish isn't bad. I think it could...
I love Amrish, but I'd never play on it enough to tell you if the bases are fine or not. I'm not going to be like, oh, the bases are fine, when I've only ever had a 10v10 battle at the base. It's not accurate. It's not weighing of the quality of the base.
Isn't that one to the south, Tomas Tech Plant? Isn't the one in the south? We always used to have massive battles at Tomas. If it's the one I'm thinking of on Amrish.
Tech Plant. Smaller bases are the ones that
No, I'm just talking about... What about the Ascent?
Yeah, I love the Ascent.
Ascent's amazing.
Yeah, but how many times have you had 200-person battles?
Not 200, Jesus, no. But
well, that's what I mean.
48.
There are dynamic changes when they go from 24 people to 100 people. The base becomes really crappy potentially.
Yeah, I'll buy that. That's fine. Not like the wonderful
ones have really had that where they can handle. They're fun with a small fight. But then they're still enjoyable when the fight's out of control big.
Oh yeah, everybody loves the Esamir Corn Maze. faces. It's amazing.
Okay, so
The
can we give our opinions before we move on?
well, that's what I was going to ask. Yeah, I was going to last year.
Last year.
I guess it is almost a year, isn't it? So all last year we skipped our own opinion. Go ahead. Go ahead, Mark.
I'm going to let Noxx go first since he was shunned last week by
Shunned.
Who
you.
was shunned last week? What was last week's question? I still want to have my...
You're not answering it now, fool.
It was the,
I'm going to get more hate from Mono.
and
If you can't remember it, let's just go on.
well, yeah. You know what? I know we said to not say the biolab, but I do agree. The biolab,
Yeah, he's right.
biolabs suck right now. It's just like, it's just not enjoyable because people don't want to push; they just want to farm. Like after the crown got fixed, everyone that was normally at the crown moved to biolabs, and they became extremely boring. I don't think it's necessarily a biolab layout completely as much as the people who fight at biolabs have no desire to actually push and win because they just want to farm kills.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I still like the biolab. Maybe
Lasher.
Says the man who uses the lasher.
all I know is we had a biolab alert last night, and I played the entire alert.
That's when I log off.
Well, you say that.
Biolabs. We'll see ya.
What do you think,
We
Deringer?
played
What
on
do you think?
Amrish. We weren't even close to Zealous Biolab, and we snuck through and made our way all the way to Zealous, lost all our back caps, but were able to attack it. And we dropped on it and took Zealous. It was a great fight. We spent a good half hour there defending it from both TR and NC. I really like the Biolab. I don't have an issue with it. But maybe that's just me.
Sounds cool.
The
have
only
Biolab as much as the fact that, like what I said.
if there was one place that I would fix, and I don't know that it needs to be fixed so much as I wish they would move it. I wish they would move the J908 impact site
Oh, to
to a
somewhere
bet-
more viable.
because I think that would be a great three-way battle. I think if they swapped that and the crown, that you'd get a lot of good fights at J908 impact. It's just it lends itself to a lot of cool things.
No.
The impact site's a big crater
Yeah,
with the bridge that goes across the middle of it. I just never see it anymore, and I'd like to see it more. Other than that, I mean, if you wanted to change a site, how about NS Research Labs?
For some reason, I thought you meant the crash site that we had on the.
No, I love the crash site. That's my. I told you that's like
there's
huge
very
Flash.
rarely fights there.
Correct, because that's shoved over in the corner.
That's what my thought initially went to that one. I was
Like, they should take that and put it in the J908 impact site. Did you guys even know that Terran BL4 crash site was a biolab?
Oh yeah, you can tell by looking at it.
I thought it was a ship.
Oh no, it's totally.
And then I actually looked
are
at-
ships if you look at them.
Yeah, I guess they're flying saucers, basically. But I mean, I assumed it was like a Battlestar Galactica.
VS crapping their ships all over the planet.
Well, I'm trying to, a long ship.
It's a
not-
Stargate. It's one of the. It's one
Not
of
a
the
big-
missions.
Turn this into like every generic like fantasy sci-fi thing in the world.
Well, I'm thinking just what a good, long ship, spaceship could look like. That's what I remember.
Babylon 5. It's a cruiser,
Sure,
man.
Babylon 5.
Isn't Event Horizon supposed to have like the,
Yeah, Event Horizon too. Yeah.
that has the biggest spaceship if you like put them all to scale?
Oh, is it? I don't know.
So
The Enterprise, I think, is what crashed there, and that's what
I
the
think we're
biolab
getting
is.
way off topic. Torkz, did you have something to add to this question?
No, I think it's great. I think they should rework the Enterprise and land it. It'd be a great base. This,
Should they attach the saucer first or not?
yeah, the nacelles need to go away, but the saucer can land. Be great. So,
Sure.
this week's question, which I have I'm looking forward to hearing the reaction for. I'm sincerely looking forward to hearing some of the answers, I should say.
he's
Is,
lying. He doesn't care. I'm joking.
What a prick! I sincerely want to hear the answer.
I'm getting
to this.
my jab in for you
All right.
not letting me express my opinion last week.
I'm so sorry. All right. Does the esports aspect of Planetside 2 enhance or detract from the game? That's all I want to know.
And why?
Yeah, I mean, please elaborate when you answer the question. I would love to understand the community as a whole's opinion on this. I'm going to put it out there as wide as I can go with it. I want to know what everybody thinks of esports and Planetside 2. So, anyways, Oh, a little competition for those of you that are listening. I put it out yesterday, I think. $40 station cash pot to the best Spawn Room Heroes music vid that someone can create by this coming Friday.
You know, I'm totally wrong. Event Horizon does not have a big spaceship.
It's not that big, yeah. I didn't think in comparison to the other ones. That's why I was saying I don't know about that. But
I don't know why I thought that.
yeah, whatever. It's not a big deal.
It's the Super Star Destroyer, actually.
Okay.
Oh, that thing's massive. There's a big picture here with all of them.
ReachCast Community Clash.
Prepare yourselves! This is the Planetside 2 Community Clash.
Man, it's pretty sweet.
You know that poster you were just looking at? I think either one of my friends in college had it or my brother had it, of all the spaceships.
Oh, yeah?
So I know exactly what you're talking about.
With Lex in the bottom right.
Yeah. All right, reach
the Borg cube that just looks totally out of place.
Yeah. The Planetside 2 Community Clash. This week's Community Clash featured Future Crew and the Iron Wolves. And boy, did Future Crew really hand it to the Iron Wolves. I mean, they really handed it to them. First half, all Future Crew, while the TIW made it a bit more of a match during the third round, but still failed to take 2 points during the first clash point, and that resulted in a loss. So they really went up and forfeited the rest of the round because they couldn't take enough points in the fourth round. Yeah, it was impossible for them to win. So far, Vanu have won every community clash. So we know we are trying to match a TR and NC outfits so that Vanu won't win one. But over 50% of the interest is currently Vanu. So come on, TR and NC. You don't need to be an MLG purpose to have some fun here. Especially now that we're on the verge of having a private server to work with. And this week, 2 days from today, we will be on the Nexus.
1 day from the time most people listen to this.
Correct.
Wednesday, 8 CST. Tune in to
I
Community
put
Clash.
a bunch of alerts on the Steam group, too, so people don't forget.
Nice.
So, talking Nexus, this is going to make things very fun. We'll be able to remove a lot of the problem areas, and we'll be able to include main battle tanks. The whole maps are asymmetrical, so there's no issues about points.
They are symmetrical. There's no more asymmetrical maps.
Noxx is right on this one.
Really, be ready, guys. Be ready, because Storm Grenadiers and Rage Quit are going to be the first Community Clash guinea pigs for our Nexus rule set.
Yeah.
What empires are they?
NC versus VS.
Storm Grenadiers are NC. Rage Quit is VS.
When are we going to get NCTR?
I'm waiting for... What I want is, hey, Vanu Outfits, if you're way down the list and you want to play a TR or NC, feel free.
Yes, say
What are you talking about? No. Want a fair comp.
So why not? They'll get on the play fest.
I spend a lot of time trying to match teams up, at least in what sort of rankings and stuff that I can find, so that people have a good competition. It's hard.
Really, it worked out with you, the number one NC.
Dude, what am I supposed to do? I tried, dude. I tried.
Do these Vanu Outfits want to prove that they're the best players no matter what? Have them play TR or NC and prove it.
Have them play both.
You know what? I'm totally going to agree with Deringer on this one. I want to see Future play NC and kick crap out of some Vanu.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Maybe they will.
Prove that it's not the Empire and it's them.
Yep.
Alright, the good...
Besides, we're going to cause Vanu to get nerfed.
Oh, God. Alright, the good, the bad, and the OP.
Have another drink on me, soldier.
Okay, thank you kindly.
If you can look hard enough past all the death and all the sorrow, there are good things. You must remember that we will overcome. The good, the bad, and the overpowered.
Oh, yeah. So, you know what okay. I have to follow up on my causing the Vanu to get nerfed statement real quick here. And it just has to go with, why are the Vanu attracting all the best players? and there has to be something that's attracting them, regardless of whatever people's opinions are on balance issues, because it's just like Counter-Strike. Every player used the AWP, the M4, or the AK. There's very little use of any other gun in the game, minus pistol usage. So you get this opinion among players, and it's going to stick, and you're going to draw players over to one empire or another. Anyways, my good this week was I played much more than normal. I played probably like 8 hours total this week. It was pretty fun. I had a blast. I'll probably keep playing more. It was a good time. And my bad was Community Clash, because the Vane won again.
All right.
And we're still using your tiers to power our Zoe Maxes.
Nice.
My good is that I had a lot of fun playing in the Devil Dogs Community Night on Friday. I got to show off some of my sweet Lasher kills and a bunch of poor TRG. I turned a corner and decimated them all live on the stream. Made me feel good.
I got to watch you and your teal skin get owned many times.
That was later in the night, and I did get owned a bunch. You're absolutely right. I walked away with a positive kill-death ratio in the end, so...
I bet... I got some nice close-ups of your ass. I wonder if Pterodactyl was watching. She might have liked that.
You guys are messed up. All right, my good for the... Or did you...
No, I'm not...
No, you didn't even do your bad. My bad.
No. My bad.
Now that Torkz didn't let you do it.
My bad is that Torkz won't let me say my bad. No, my bad really is. So I make the YouTube videos of the Community Clash events, and it's really just me cobbling together the event, throwing it up so people can watch it, and in a shorter format so you don't hear some of the downtime. Well, anyway, someone on YouTube, so the video I made of the Iron Wolves versus Future Crew was basically I-AIDS. That hurt my feelings.
I-AIDS.
I didn't read this.
What does that mean? Does it mean you're like slowly killing his eyes over the next like 10 years?
It must have mean I gave his eyes AIDS.
Well, his eyes have got it, then the rest of him's got it. He's done for.
But I mean, that means it wasn't like it's awful because it's not instantly painful.
It hurt my feelings.
It slowly becomes painful as he watches it.
I think it's
His
pretty
eyes
mild.
Slowly deteriorate over time.
I think it's pretty mild for the internet, honestly. I mean, it could be.
I know it's trolling at its finest, but still.
I could think of 1,000 different things.
I did spend a few hours putting that stuff, editing it all down. Least you can say is, made my... Never mind.
As we all know, everybody loves to make their critiques. They're not the ones doing it, so it's whatever. It was horrible. He did a shitty job. Do better next time.
Shitty job. Screw you. It's
Like
fine. You're doing it this week.
I don't even know how to. It's fine.
Yeah, shut your mouth.
I have a new good.
What's your new good?
Changes just tweeted me and said Community Clash is the best Planetside 2 gameplay to watch. You fellas
Just
are
not Deringer's videos.
Just not Deringer's videos, yeah.
The Twitch version's great until it goes to YouTube. It's just atrocious.
Where Deringer will proceed to give you eye-aids.
Oh no, that's horrible.
And I've already been told we can't name the show I-AIDS.
Yeah, that's not gonna fly.
Just too bad.
So my good for the week is the Community Clash last week was a lot of fun to do and to watch afterwards. I watched the YouTube video as much as I've been bashing his chops. One's bleeding and the other one's kind of like just kind of puffy, but we'll see what happens. The
other one's HIV positive.
It's horrible. This is going in a really bad direction. It's not good. Not good.
Allowed to joke about AIDS?
I don't know. I don't think it's like appropriate, but whatever. The bad for the week is that VS has won every Community Clash.
So laughing.
And I just want to see. I want to see somebody.
Left Eye Magic is Right Eye Johnson.
Guys, I swear. So VS has won every Community Clash. VS has won every Community Clash so far, and they really need to be dethroned. All right, we're going on to mailbag.
Oh, it's a perfect morning. Great timing, the mailman's just coming.
Morning.
It's the mail. Big bag. See you later.
He must be in a hurry to get away. Very strange. It's the sticking sound. Going to take a look here in this bag of mail. Oh no!
Now you just open the ReachCast mailbag.
At least with those names, we know his eyes will be okay.
Oh, come on, really? I played that just so we could...
Before we go on, I want to apologize to anyone I may have offended.
Sure. All right, first call.
Hey guys, Louis the 40 D's. Calling about your community question. My number one base to fix would be Quartz Ridge, but I'm sure a lot of people have already said that. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Plug had made a comment that he's already fixing that as well. My second one would be Alam Botany Wing. Currently, if you hold the southeast warp gate on Indar, you have to go through a lot of Botany Wing to take a lot of them, and that's pretty much your only choice. And it sucks because you can't get a Sunder in by the teleporter, so it's really inefficient, and you need like a good 10% pop advantage to guarantee yourself taking that facility. That's that. I have a question for you guys, and I was wondering what your thoughts on the current supposed splash damage spawn room, spawn door bug where splash damage is going through. I got to tell last night about it. Said a guy telling me I was reported in this stuff, and all I was doing was hitting the deck on the tower like I always hit the deck on the tower, before the bug existed. I don't know. What do you guys think? I kind of think it's no cheaper than the people sitting in the spawn room shooting out at you. I'm almost liking it, like it creates a balance. So I'm interested in your thoughts on that. Thanks, guys. Have a great show.
All right. So it sounds like he's just pulling another Deringer with the lasher.
Yeah, but it's been fixed. You can't do it anymore.
I don't know, maybe this is a late call. He called this in today.
I know I did, but I'm under the impression that I haven't tested it since the past.
Regardless, it still sounds like it's something he thought was good.
It was good. It was great. I want it back. Bring it back. Hey, back. Tanks could do it too.
I think the best solution to spawn room heroes is letting you have the option of dropping in or spawning. If you were able to drop in, you would, it could
crash down on those people.
It could be totally exploitable, but it
but I'd say that's pretty exploitable. But
it would make defending, not
turn off.
Sitting in there and owned.
That would turn offensive drop pods into a whole other problem.
I don't have an issue with that. I think that's a good idea.
All right. Well,
bring that into the game. Let's have some offensive drop pods.
I like that because I don't want to I don't want to be copy Battlefield and create 8 spawn locations per point, but I don't like that everyone's in one spot and I never have.
Yeah. All right. Next call.
Yo, Noxx, I got your back on this one. Yo, Torkz, why you gotta be an asshole, man? I heard it. I heard it was on the tip of your tongue, man. You're sitting there freaking talking about your book. You're like, yo, Noxx, you better shut your mouth. I'm gonna talk what I want. You almost said, yo, this is my podcast. I'm gonna do what you want. Man, you almost like Hammer. You know what I'm saying? Yo, you, man. Burn your books. Burn your libraries. Y'all talking about books. But then I was like, man, all right. So, yeah, I guess I read some books too, man. I read Shel Silverstein's Where the Sidewalk Ends. I read fucking Animorphs, Goosebumps. Yo, Amelia Bedelia. She's my bitch. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, I guess that's about it, because y'all talking about books. Get back to Planetside 2. Hey, Torkz, watch your fucking back.
Oh, God.
Bleep, 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 bleep.
That's pretty harsh.
It is pretty harsh. I don't even know, I have no, valid response to that.
Amelia Bedelia is the best one. What I realized from this is that really, I'm sorry, Mono, that you're illiterate.
R.L. Stein. The highest reading he's getting.
His Goosebumps.
I just graduated college. Amelia Bedelia is my bitch. No, it's good stuff, Mono.
She's everybody's, don't worry.
I'm sorry for last week, Noxx. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to cut you off. Apparently I'm going to get hate stabbed somewhere for it.
You better not show up at SOE Live next year.
Yeah, I'm going to get stabbed next year for it.
I'm going to remind everyone the day before SOE Live.
I'm going to hand out shanks in
Don't
line.
forget, Torkz didn't let me express my opinion on episode 50.
I'm picturing you trolling through the line and just hand out little shanks, like toothbrush shanks. Like, here you go.
Sharpened spoon.
Just be quiet. Get him after he gets out of line. All right, next call.
Hey, all you ReachCast listeners out there. I'm Tommy from the 40 Deuce. Do you like girls? Well, if you do, I just found a great look for you in Uncle Noxx's bathroom. It's
Whoa, 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 whoa.
That's where he cuts it off. I didn't even have to cut it off that time.
What did he find in your bathroom, Uncle Noxx?
Uncle Noxx. I don't know what he found.
Tommy found a book about girls in your bathroom, apparently. I mean, I love our listeners. On one hand, I get this guy calling me that I should burn every book I own. And kind of basically saying I should watch my back. I love it. And then I follow up with a guy imitating a little child saying he's finding porn in Nox's bathroom.
Hey, he did not say porn.
Yeah, he didn't say porn.
I'm sorry, he alluded to that. I apologize.
50 Shades of Grey.
50 Shades of Grey. I can't say enough good things about our listeners. At least you keep me laughing every week, if nothing else. So, all right, we have a call from Wolf. Here we go.
Wolf. You know the enemy and know yourself. You do not fear the result of 100 battles. If you know yourself, but not the enemy, for every victory gained, you will also suffer a defeat. If you know neither the enemy nor yourself, you will succumb in every battle.
What's up, ReachCast? This is 447 Miller TR. Alright. So I've got a rant today about MLG. Yes, I brought that up. You can punch me in the face later. Right, if I understood this correctly, on its server, we're gonna get Bell Islands, which are gonna be a part of the Continental Lattice, and also part of MLG, and I'm just thinking, if that's the case, I'm not even gonna go into detail, but that makes zero sense, SOE. Please rethink what you're doing. Here's a suggestion what you could do. Make a separate server for MLG, put all the Bell Islands that are ever gonna happen on that server, and then say, yeah, people fight on this server, so when two clans hate each other enough, they can go to that server, and the MLG guys are just gonna say, yeah, we're gonna record this, and you guys can fight on this Bell Island right now, and we're gonna post this on YouTube so everybody can see who's the best, and everybody's gonna be happy, including Matt Higby. And on the regular servers, we would get a more experimental balance because of this. And why I'm saying this is because the game is already starting to feel a bit generic and like the other first-person shooters. Why not make the factions in the game deviate from each other a wee bit more? Per se, when you give the factions new weapons, give the TRN SMG, give the NCA shotgun, and give the VS. Give the VS. What would you give the VS?
Alright, that's the first half of this call, and I cut it off. I mean, good production quality. Yeah. Guys, try to keep it to 2 minutes or under, please. A minute and a half. Like, can't keep cutting these every week.
Can't keep Volfo 7 under 2 minutes.
I can't keep Wolf under 2 minutes. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the production. Just, come on, guys, you're killing me here. Alright, with that, well, to what he said about MLG and having the Battle Islands included in the Continental Lattice, I think we had this discussion, I mean, back in the annals of history for the show, about why it makes sense to have them in the Continental Lattice, because you don't want the player base segmented. But, after playing this game for, how long has this game been out, guys? Almost a year now, pretty much a year.
A year on November 20th.
Correct.
And seeing a lot of the stuff coming up for MLG, I'm kind of starting to wonder myself if it makes more sense to have that continent outside, at least the first Battle Island, I would say, outside of the Continental Lattice, because until they have 3 battle hounds, you can't really make a real Continental Lattice out of it.
Yeah, without having the same battle island 3 times, which would still give more people the ability to play on it.
You know, I would be down for that until they get new ones. I wouldn't mind them using Nexus 3 times in a row, you know, or to be the Continental Lattice between the other continents. But, whatever. Alright, on to the last call. It's 3 minutes long. Again, I'm gonna probably choke myself out halfway through. Here we go.
Hey, ReachCast, this is Ginger879, and over the past few weeks, I've done nothing but fly readers, practicing to finally becoming the ace I have on Connery. And I think having transitioned from newbie to an experienced pilot so quickly, I have a pretty good perspective on all the aspects of the ESS learning curve. I'd like to use this call to pose a counter-argument from Nitro's call last week. I know you guys aren't heavily into ESS combat, but I think the ESS discussion is important, and I'd like to put my 2 cents in. Now, Nitro argued during the second half of his call for the removal of the reverse maneuver for several reasons. He argued that it dissuaded new pilots from pulling ESS, and that skilled pilots would have a place in Planetside 2 if hover combat didn't exist. He stated that even though endless turn dot sites would become the norm, they could be avoided if you had a well-coordinated team of pilots helping each other out. I have a great game for Nitro, and all other pilots who support this specific point of view. It's called War Thunder. In this game, that'll take place in realistic dogfighting configurations that lead to an endless turning in order to avoid enemy fire. It doesn't matter who the better pilot is. The person in the plane with the better turn time will usually win. Just as Nitro said, though, you can get out of this situation by coordinating with your team. It appears as though the exact situation he wants is just waiting for him in a different game. In Planetside, not everybody is the flight instructor of a large outfit and just has the ability to take out masses of pilots whenever they please. Planetside 2 flight is simply a different experience than what Nitro wants. The existence of the reverse maneuver meta makes every single player shine based on their own individual skill, because in a 1v1 hover dogfight, the better pilot will always win. That alone is why skilled aces don't want to see it go, and its absence is why skilled aces don't exist in War Thunder, and won't exist in Nitro's version of a good flight game. Let's move on to Nitro's other point, the reverse maneuver is so overpowered that it's dissuading new players from playing. I'm a bit sick of people calling it overpowered. If somebody shoots you down using the reverse maneuver, it's not because they started into it or because they bought the reverse maneuver with station cash. It's because they've spent literally days in that ESS practicing flight, reverse maneuver included. So reverse maneuver isn't OP. It's simply the way flight in Planetside 2 is meant to be played. Criticizing the reverse maneuver for being overpowered is like criticizing an infiltrator for hard scoping. In either case, both people need to do these things to be successful and aren't going to have an easy time without making use of them when needed. The only difference is that, unlike scoping in, the reverse maneuver is significantly harder for new players to learn how to do. Which means that the reverse maneuver isn't the problem. The learning curve is. People don't fly because they don't want to put time or effort into learning to understand Planetside 2 flight. This is for 2 reasons. First, they can't ever pull ESS because they have to wait 15 minutes between each one, and since they're still new, they lose the ESS within a minute of takeoff. And second, there's nothing in the game that actually teaches them how the hover combat meta works.
That's where his call cut off. He called back for a secondary call. I liked the ZSF call though. It's a good counterpoint to Nitro. I'll play a second call next week. He kind of continues on with that line of discussion. It's pretty good though, in my opinion. All right, we have our emails for the week.
Oh, wait a second. Did you forget the second part of a call from last week?
No. Did I?
We played a part 1 last week.
I'll go back and look. If I missed it this week, guys, I'm sorry. I don't. You might be right. I looked through my archive. I don't think I did. If I did miss, I apologize. I'll pull it up next week. Emails.
Are we going to talk about this?
About the call? Yeah. About the reverse? We've talked about the reverse maneuver. It doesn't. I mean, we can if you want to. It's up to you. But
I just want to say that I'm going with what I said last week. That I think maybe more people. There should be more reason to fly.
Okay.
There needs to be objective-based gameplay in the air.
Yeah, maybe the big Superstar Destroyer. They put in
I have an idea, but I don't want to say it because I still need to refine in my head how it would work. But
okay,
it wouldn't be coming out anytime soon either if this idea ever did happen. So it's kind of like almost for naught.
Okay.
Sorry.
Go on. You have an email. Go ahead and read your email.
Oh, I have an email. That's right. I'm sorry. Jeez Louise, I'm failing here. All right. Tavuin! Tavian is the way I'm supposed to pronounce it, actually. It told me that at the bottom of the email. I just remembered I saw. All right. It says, hey guys, thanks for helping out the Kama situation from the last week. Threw on and kept on the Vanny Purple since. Sorry about not mentioning my faction in the email. I have joined Ghost of the Revolution, you guys, and have really been enjoying it. My question this week is a transition question from Planetside 1 to Planetside 2. I completely lost interest in the game and gave up on PS1 after they implemented the BFR. They were game changers and simply having one present in a battle almost completely determine the victory. Do you feel Sony will take the same road to PS2 and have them return? He says he's really hoping they don't, but a lot of people he's talked to have made some points that a proper implementation and balance adjustment, they could be a cool addition. What are our thoughts? And he feels that Sony implemented them in the end to squeeze every last bit of money they could out of a dying game. So,
I think I can quote T-Ray.
Yeah, I was just going to say, yeah.
Go back and find our show that T-Ray was a guest on when Noxx was AWOL.
No, it wasn't.
AWOL.
Because I was on that episode.
Oh, were you? Adam was AWOL.
I think I was AWOL, yeah. But yeah, I think I can quote him as saying, just because we f***ed it up once, doesn't mean we're going to again. I think it's pretty much exactly what he said.
Yeah, he said it'd be something that'd be really, really hard to get, but it would be powerful.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty much exactly. I mean, as he said, I think from what I'm assuming by what he said is that they are looking at doing it. I don't think there's any. Obviously, they haven't verified that they're going to one way or another. But
I don't want to make that assumption.
I said, and by the way I said it, Deringer, I said they're assuming they're looking at it. I didn't say they're absolutely going to implement it. I'm just saying that I know that it sounds like they're looking at it. So we'll see what happens.
Well, coming from Planetside 1, I hope they never come back to the game ever again. I agree with Tavian.
Okay. Next email is from Solex, and he talks about, kind of brings up ESF debate as well. He said he had a really good discussion on the XCast. I think it's the Outfit X podcast about Planetside 2. So check out that. It's XCast. He was on there last week, I think. I listened to a little bit of it, and he has some really good kind of explaining the reverse maneuver, what it's all about, and kind of how it works. It's a good discussion, so check that out. And, listen to that if you want to hear more about reverse maneuver and all that jazz. And next email.
You don't want to read his last sentence.
Alright, fair enough. Thanks for reading my...
with the second half.
Okay, as always, feel free to chop
the next
part. Which one are you talking about? I have no clue what you're saying. Just read it yourself. I don't know. I don't even know which part you're talking about.
And y'all need to play with other outfits more. I'm tired of hearing the same 3 to 4 every time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can rotate around. We can play some more outfits. He's even got a hate face there. I've got so much hate this week.
Oh.
Jeez. All right. Next email.
He says that, and of course I went back to Connery and played with different outfits. And I realized, listening to Louis call, that when I did the 666 event, I played with the 40 Deuce. So we should have given them a shout out at the beginning of the show. So here's your shout out now. Better late than never. Next email comes from Andy. He says, hi, just wanted to clarify. This was the guy last week who talked about his A83850. He says, I wanted to clarify, I do have a video card with my AMD A3850. I have a 660 GTX Asus NVIDIA card. He says, I do have 8 gigabytes of RAM, and the rest of my computer isn't anything that would slow the computer. I still have problems because, and I'm not certain, but the APU series is CPU plus GPU factors, and I've heard it lags more than it should. And possibly Planetside can help there, or it may just be because it sacrifices CPU usage for graphics partially on the CPU itself. Mostly you answered my point by saying that any optimization will be for all computers, strong or bad. I guess I meant that the lower-end computers could possibly have more help because they get the worst end of it and also could benefit the most for PS2 company and the user. Yeah, I'd agree with that. that I don't disagree that perhaps they should focus some on lower-end computers. And there's nothing saying that they won't. But everything that we read earlier from the OMFG says that they are going to be focusing on computers like yours and also mine. Now, one other thing that we did talk about last week was cross-firing. And since you told us that you have an NVIDIA card, you can't cross-fire with your AMD processor. It does have to be an AMD card in order for you to crossfire. I'm not sure what increases you might see if you were to switch over to an AMD card based on that. But I think because you're using an A8 that you will see some good increases with the OMFG changes. Anything else you guys want to add to that?
No, I think you covered it all.
No, I mean, you're kind of AMD guy. I know I used an AMD proc there for a while. But yeah, man.
Last AMD chip I owned was an AMD X2 first gen dual core processor.
Oh man.
And it was the bomb, wasn't it?
No, it was a piece of crap.
Wasn't good back in the day?
No. That's why I stopped using them.
Before Noxx reads the next email, I want to say. Well, I want to say he's obviously going to have to summarize it, but Pine Tree Road 930, you wrote an amazing email. I'm trying to find a way that we can put this out there so you can just read it maybe in the blog or something. You have you go through it very detailed, point by point, and I really liked the email. Unfortunately, as is a limitation consistently with the show, we can't do it justice by reading it, one, because we are horrible at reading things.
And it's text-based, and it'll put half our listeners to sleep.
Yes, so that's the other half. But you did do a very good job, and I want to give you props on that on the show, just to make sure people knew that you went through your time to write the emails. So thanks, man.
This is by no means a lazy effort. So it is from Pine Tree Road, 930. I wonder if that's his address. But somewhere in the country. He basically gives us a very long but very well stated, as Torkz said, input on the poll results regarding hardware. And basically he says the point of the 64-bit question is basically to try and say, why is this game 32-bit when 90% of the people are using 64-bit computers? Because he feels that they could benefit greatly from utilizing more than 4 gigabytes of RAM, considering all the various objects that a player has to load. I kind of agree with that. It would be nice. It would probably help a lot if some of that stuff was able to just cache it all in multiple gigs of RAM. But anyways, so he asks about that. But then you don't want to make the RAM requirement too low to counter argue that. Or too high, rather, the minimum. But he thinks the 64-bit also, it just gives you larger space. You get bigger registries, data paths, you can do larger calculations more quickly. So yeah, there's a lot of benefits to 64-bit that he thinks that they should do. And he doesn't know the code behind it, but he's sure it would be a pain. He understands that. Same sort of thing with the operating system, trying to understand why they're keeping it DX9 compatible to support Windows XP, basically. And he says, I believe, that somewhere like 90% of PCs in the country are still Windows XP, or in the world, rather.
Well, that's the problem with that metric is that you're talking
about a lot of work PCs and stuff.
You're lumping in corporate work structure, and that's
it's hard. PCs, people who don't play video games and never will play video games, and he kind of argues that. He's like, why, that might be true, but look at everyone who plays this game has DX10 and 11 capabilities, because the vast majority of people that are playing video games care about that stuff and get those upgrades that they need in order to use those systems, so that Sony shouldn't be so concerned about keeping it DX9 compatible, because even though many computers are that way, those computers aren't necessarily gaming computers. So I think it's a very good point to make. And he always talks about GPU a bit with DX9 and 10, how there's technically DX 11.1 and 12.1.
I think we've gotten to that point where we're getting.
Oh yeah, we're getting into the boring stuff.
I know we find it interesting because we work in IT, but
I know.
Well, you can at least talk about the Steam hardware survey.
Steam hardware survey. Yeah, the Steam hardware survey on August 2013 shows that 61.05% of players are currently running DX11 GPUs. 34% are running DX10 GPUs. 3.35% are running DX9 GPUs. And 1.46%, bless their souls, are running DX8 GPUs.
So really, more than 95% of people are using DX10 and above, so what's that tell you?
Means that we need to upgrade DX10.
Yeah.
And by we, I mean the game.
3.35% of gamers on Steam, which houses far more gamers than PlanetSide 2 will probably ever see, are using DX9 or below. Well, it's 4%. I get 5% or below are using that or below, and it's like I doubt that 5% of players are like the majority of PlanetSide players. I really doubt it. I think the majority of PlanetSide players fall in the other 90%. So,
yeah. And they're great.
It continues on. Lots of good stuff. But, yeah.
Yeah. We'll find somewhere to put it, because it was a good email. Let's do our thank yous real quick. Show's already getting past the hour mark.
Poor Kaylee's going to fall off the treadmill.
Yeah. Timothos. Timothos? Those? Well.
Maybe you're right.
Tamirillin?
I think it's Tamerlin.
Tamerlin? Oh, that would make sense, wouldn't it? Alright. Camry Camera, Grey Frog, A Threat to You, John Lee Pettimore, B Postal, Obstruction, Carbon Copy, Time Elude, Hervox, Reg Puppy, Fear, The Blood Eagle, I Am DH, Ash198, FC000, I assume it's Future Crew. Sir Purple People Eater, I think he is Zap's lead, or if not the lead. Wing Fist, Acer Rubrum, alright, whatever. Bob the Mad Cow, Math Cow.
Math Cow.
Sorry,
What is a Math Cow?
I don't know, that's a good one. Mustarde, I can't.
Mustarde.
I can't roll that R very well. Van Dax.
I like shoot machine guns as a child.
What does that have to do with rolling your R?
Same sort of thing.
Whatever. Foxhound Unit 89. Kid Sinatra. Roadster or Codester.
I think Codester is probably right.
Genseric, Snoopin' Grouper, Pyrometh. Alright.
It's Breaking Bad fan there, probably.
I guess it makes sense. Lamphix, V Chrono, Vonic, G Bank 14, Maccabees.
I'm guessing Maccabeus.
KBS, yeah, possibly. Breaking Hank, I like that one. I'm assuming that is a Breaking Bad reference.
That's a Breaking Bad fan there.
Ruthless Truth, Hedonistic Rush. Hedonistic Rush. Man, damn names. Silent Hestati. Nephilim 314 and Won't End Well.
That's what happens when you and Mono meet.
I'm gonna get, that's me getting shanked 100 times in like a back alley somewhere, not even knowing why. Alright,
let's fire through our contact info. As always, our website is reachcastshow.com. You can email us, like these fine people above did, at reachcastshow@gmail.com. You can call us, like some of our other fine listeners did, 415-787-3224. That's 415-78-REACH. On Twitch, you can find us, twitch.tv/ReachCast. Our Steam group, search ReachCast on Steam.
We have 100 members, and I gave away station cash for it.
See, you should be following Steam, because that's where Noxx
no one claimed it. Like, no one said they claimed it, though.
I claimed it.
Got it.
I claimed it.
Claim it. Get the F out of here.
And I bought the mirrored helmet with it. Thank you. Our show Twitter is @ReachCastShow. My personal Twitter is @TheDeringer.
Who's next?
I guess I can be. Mine's at Hedonistic Rush _Torkz.
It's at won't end well.
At won't end well. It's Shankwell. Mono Shankwell Torkz. All right.
And Noxx, where are you at?
I'm at NOXXIA Noxia. And I meant to make this next part red. Why is it blue?
I don't know. Maybe you like blue.
Yeah, that's for you.
As always, thank you to the rest of the ReachCast crew. Stiff. Okay. Steve. Stiff Cleve. Steve, Cliff, John, Jenny Boo, Hamma. Thank you for your contributions on the show.
You know, we did a whole show and we didn't even mention the kind of huge news that we have coming up next week.
I'd love to know what you're talking about.
Next week is our 1-year anniversary of doing ReachCast.
Oh man, yeah, it's true.
It's a f***ing party, baby.
I'm gonna go get a birthday cake.
Can we have we should have an unbleeped episode and just go full bore.
Oh no, not a good idea.
1 year old baby.
The filters come off after 1 year.
If you want to see us unfiltered, you can meet us at live or one of the MLG events. You can,
which many people will attest to. We're not the people you might have thought.
Yeah. So yeah, listen to us next week. We will be doing our 1-year anniversary show. I'm very excited about it.
Yeah.
Right.
And we might have more bleeps in this episode than like.
I think we're out. We're done.
That's right, Sergeant. You make the call. All right, soldiers. You've done a great job here today. Let's get our stuff and get the hell out of here.